somebody special. Yeah, can't wait it out tonight. Baby, you special. Can't wait it out tonight. Yeah, can't believe it's so. Yeah.
Alright guys, this is your boy ArmyguyTravels coming at you from the beautiful Bogota, Colombia, and today we're going to do a cool video. We're going to show you one of the hippest things that you might not understand the culture behind in the world. So graffiti is a big deal here in Colombia. You know, a lot of outsiders, when they come here, they see all the graffiti and they think it's a little trashy, but once they actually understand the culture, it is phenomenal. We have some of the best artists in the world, and hopefully today I can show you that. So guys, make sure you like the video, subscribe, enjoy.
Yeah, can't believe it's so. Yeah, 20 nights been sober. Baba don't lose composure. Yeah, girl, my champion lover. Would you wait for me, girl? Yeah, cause now you did cross my mind. Would you wait for me, girl? I know, ain't no distance, ain't no time to get me back to you. Coach, yeah, give me coach. Yeah, give me coach. Yeah, to get me back to you. Yeah, nah.
We're going to show you something really cool. I'm going to show it to you in just a second, and then after that we are going to go on a Bogota Graffiti Tour. If you want to check them out, go BogotaGraffiti.com. I found them online, so maybe they can show me some stuff that I haven't seen over the last couple of years. So guys, follow along. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so we're down here in the Centro Historico, also known as La Candelaria, and the one thing that you've got to know about graffiti culture here in Colombia is that just less than 20 years ago, they looked at graffiti with the same disdain as the cocaine industry, guys. So it's only been 20 years, and now it's just part of the culture. You go into a hardware store, the first thing you see is high-end graffiti paint. Anywhere you go in the city, like, you see guys tagging up buildings in the middle of broad daylight. Now, in 2011, a famous artist actually got killed by the police while he was tagging. So Javier Becerra was a 16-year-old, got killed by the police, and you know, that was only in 2011. Now we're in La Candelaria, guys, and it's everywhere, from nice graffiti to bad graffiti to trashy graffiti. But you've got a little of everything, but you have some of the best graffiti artists in the world are right here in Bogota, Colombia, guys. I mean, here's some old stuff. This is one of the oldest parts of the city. If you look, people actually want, like, if you get a good enough artist, they want you to tag their business. Like, this is the Casa Quinta Hotel, and their entire front is tagged. So, I mean, this is a high-end apartment building right here, and look at their doors. You know what I mean? Just absolutely gorgeous, guys. The talent, the artistic talent that you'll see in the graffiti in this video is going to be insane. Everything from political statements to sports, definitely soccer. You're gonna see graffiti anywhere and everywhere, no matter what neighborhood. From Strata 1 to Strata 6, you're gonna see it here in Colombia. So, and especially in Bogota. This, if you're a gringo and you come to Bogota, most gringos stay in La Candelaria. I think you should go and explore out. But
Okay, so this was painted by Guache. Guache, he's from Boyacá. He came from a farmer family, so he's very connected with the rural Colombia, with the indigenous Colombia. That is his inspiration, and he used these colors, not only the background colors, but the skin color, this copper-like color. And he used that color because most of us, most of Colombians, have this skin color. And the nickname Guache, it's also very symbolic. Because Guache in Colombian Spanish means somebody that is very rude. Somebody passed by your side and hits you, you will say like, it's a Guache. And it means to be the traditional indigenous language of the inhabitants of Bogota community. And he's saying that the migration is something positive. It's this seed that grows in this new country. He, as I told you, he's one of the most popular, so we are going to see a lot of his work in here, especially in the downtown and in these surroundings. And this one was painted by Lola. I don't have much information about her, but you can see the other side of the house. Can I take you a picture for Instagram? Yes, Instagram.
yes.
Yes. Come on. Do you like this one? Yes, of course, it's a graffiti tour. The tour is like 2 hours long. It is that we're going to end in that building, very close to that building, in a new place dedicated to the urban cultures of Bogota. The tour is like 2 hours long, and during the tour we're going to talk about street art, about graffiti, but also about the history, the politics of Bogota, of Colombia. The main topic, of course, remains graffiti, but if you want to know something more about Bogota, about Colombia, ask me and I'll be glad to answer your questions. Okay? Recommendations. Remember that we are in the tropic, so be very careful with the sun. Even when it's cloudy, use sunscreen, drink a lot of water. The weather in Bogota could be very unpredictable, so be prepared for everything, for sun, for rain, for the 7 plagues of Egypt, for everything.
Does aguardiente count as water?
Sorry?
Does aguardiente count as water?
Okay. For Graffiti Tour, don't worry. We are just starting. We are just giving the general recommendations. You don't probably have enough time to see a city. We never have enough time to see a city. But we are not going to rush. It is that we are going to take the time to see the murals, take the pictures, but I also want to show you as much as possible. So we are going to try to move fast, walk fast between every stop. Okay? Security recommendations. Have you ever watched these Hollywood movies about Bogota, about Colombia in the 80s, in the 90s?
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Bogota is not like that. Never was. Yes, of course, we have security problems like in every big city. In Bogota, there are pickpocketers, but it's not a combat zone or something like that. Yes, we need to be aware of our surroundings, we need to be careful with our belongings, but everything is going to be fine. People is going to get close to us, homeless, asking for money. Don't freak out, don't be afraid, just treat them with respect, and everything is going to be fine. Victor Tapia is a professional artist, a professional muralist, but he said that he's not a graffiti artist. And he made that very clear. Because he said that the graffiti is not art. Because the graffiti doesn't have the structure, the concept that the art needs. Of course, Mr. Victor is another era artist. He's not into the social media world. But if you want to know more about him, if you want to see more of his work, learn about his concept, you can visit his website. Or you can visit him, he lives next door. So from time to time you can meet Mr. Victor Tapia.
Does he go somewhere, or do you like just go knock on the door?
We try.
Sometimes he's very friendly. He's very friendly. He always said that we are wonderful human beings. that we should cultivate these virtues. But of course, he's an old man, so some days he's very happy, and he shows us the workshop, and other days he's
Grumpy, like old people get.
But most of the time he's very friendly.
Yeah.
So this mural was made by Bastardilla. Bastardilla, and she's great. She's great. She did this by herself using only a broom as a brush, connecting extension poles to get to the top of the wall. She's amazing. And we are going to see a lot of different techniques and styles, but nothing like Bastardilla style. She used these brush strokes that remind us like Van Gogh in certain way, and also this kind of light and shadows, very similar to Van Gogh. And she's no longer living here. She lived abroad. But every time that she came back, she painted a new. And like with the tags, she's saying, I am here. I'm still. And talking about the techniques, there are many different techniques. The most used technique, of course, is the spray paint technique. And it depends on how you use the can, how fast you paint, how close to the wall you paint, how much pressure you put into the nozzle. You can change the thickness of the line. But you can also change the nozzles, the caps. With different caps, you can change how the paint is sprayed. The other popular technique are the stencils. You use a cardboard, you cut holes, and then you spray the paint. And it's a very convenient technique, it's very fast. Fast, once the different Colombian cultures, that is his inspiration. He paints about the animal, the fauna, the indigenous cultures. He's a very shamanic artist. And as I told you, he became the most famous graffiti artist because he painted the most famous graffiti in Bogota. Okay, let's continue.
Hola, bienvenidos.
Buenas.
Let's wait. Festivals like Barranquilla's Carnival or something like that. One of the few traditional festivals in Bogota is related with chicha. In La Perseverancia, for example, they celebrated Festival del Maíz, la Chicha y la Dicha. That is a festival, like festival of chicha, corn, and joes. And it's all kind of chicha, different kind of chicha.
Yeah, to get me back to you. Cannot deny it's a couscous. And if God is my witness, now you be my weakness. My no be boss. See Oluwa don't bless me. Not true, no be ghost ride. If they say I dey listen, babe. I say I did listen, babe. And you're the one that I'm missing, girl. And my darling, would you wait for me, girl? Yeah, cause now you did cross my mind. Would you wait for me, girl? I know.
One of the most picturesque streets in Bogota, and at the bottom of the street is Chorrequevedo Square. That is the place in where we have been taught that the city was found. Of course, there are many places related with our foundation, but this is the spot of the city. And this place, I think that represents Bogota, because Bogota is a mixed place, and in there you can find everything: restaurants, bars, families, tourists, many different things. And this place is also very important for graffiti, because those alleys have been many traditional graffitis. For example, if you Google Bogota graffiti, you are going to find the picture of this old indigenous woman, the graffiti of this old indigenous woman. That graffiti became the most famous graffiti in Bogota, because that was published in Lonely Planet, New York Times, everywhere. Became the
Trying to find my way in. searching for where I did belong. Coming up with a plan, somewhere I can begin. Memories of my hometown keep crawling back in my head. My hometown, been around the world all this time, still couldn't match how we felt. How we felt. I can't wait to get home. 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 Nothing else.
Here. Another one painted by Bastardilla, also about war or against war. And these posters that are from an international campaign called Unmute Palestine. There are pictures, images from the Palestinians, from the victims, from war, but with the mute sign. You can see this topic is very sensitive for many people in Colombia. We're going to see a lot of murals about Palestine. And in here, this mural, if we think in graffiti, if we think in graffiti, we think in New York, Philadelphia, the subway, the hip-hop culture. And the hip-hop is very important. The hip-hop is divided in 4 disciplines: DJing, rapping, breakdancing, and of course, writing. And the graffiti became popular in all the cities of the world, including Colombian cities. Here in Colombia, young people from the barrios began to hear the music, to see the murals.
Well, all this time, still couldn't match how we felt. How we felt. I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to get home.
And if we are talking about graffiti, probably we are only talking about the hip-hop style graffiti, the tags, and the political graffiti. Because the idea of the graffiti is to annoy, to upset, to be subversive. And the intention of many of other murals is completely the opposite. It's more aesthetic. They want to please. So those murals doesn't fit into the graffiti category. For instance, we only saw the landscape. But in here we can see all the details. We can see this bird, but it's not a normal bird because it has hands. It's a kind of chimera. And also these feet that we don't know if those feet belong to the same creature. And we can see the mountains, the volcano, how the volcano light the hands of the creature. And we can see the forest, these frailejones, these plants, but they are not regular frailejones, they are more like people frailejones. And you can also see this tiny face in the flower, a lot of different details. This was painted by Bastardilla. Bastardilla means, Bastardilla is the Spanish word for italic letter. And Bastardilla, she is representing the páramo. The páramo is this unique Andean ecosystem below the 3,000 meters. Very similar to the moors in Scotland. And we said that the páramo is the water factor. Because the frailejones, for example, have in their leaves this kind of hairs. And with those hairs, they collect the humidity, the water in the air, and pour it into the soil. So most of the water that we have in Colombia came from the páramos. But this ecosystem is also a very delicate ecosystem. The frailejones only grow 1 or 2 in many countries, in many medias, because this mural is about Palestine. If you post the Palestinian flag in Facebook, for example, Facebook is taking down that kind of content. So the people began to use different symbols to avoid that censorship. For example, they use this symbol, the watermelon. The watermelon is one of the traditional Palestinian products. And the watermelon also have the colors of the Palestinian flag. The other popular symbol are the keys. When the Palestinians were forced to leave their homes, they kept the keys with the idea that one day they are coming. Vandals. painting at night, hanging around, drinking. Other days, they are commissioning homes. They're colorful, very professional, centered. There are less and less murals painted by Roland because he died like 3 years ago. But some apprentices continue painting, for example, in the park or they.
I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to get home. Carry the roots in my soul. Feel the heat of the sun. This is where I was born. Music in the air of the night.
Gamma and also Espacio en Blanco, it's another gallery dedicated to drawing. Okay, so this was painted by Soma. Soma is a female artist, and Soma paint about Colombia, about the Colombian people, the humble people of Colombia, the artisans, the street vendors. This mural is about the Magdalena River. Magdalena River is the main river in Colombia because the Magdalena River travels all along Colombia. And during many years, all the people, all the products move along Magdalena River. Now a lot of things have changed, but the Magdalena River continues being very, very, very important. So she's showing us these traditional products, the coffee, the corn, the fruits, the plantains, the potatoes, but also she's showing us this river that is very symbolic. Do you see the book in the hammock? 100 años de soledad, 100 years of solitude. One of the most important books in Colombia, written by Gabriel Garcia. Have you already read Gabriel Garcia Marquez? No? A little? You should read Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Gabriel Garcia Marquez is known for realismo mágico, the magical realism. So, Soma is showing us this river that is very important for our economy, but also this river that is very symbolic, full of unbelievable things, magical things, the same as Gabriel Garcia Marquez literature and the same as Colombia. Colombia is a fantastic country. Okay, let's continue.
Wait for me, girl. I know. Ain't no distance, ain't no time to get me back to you. Coach, nah, nah. Coach, yeah, get me back to you. Oh, nah, nah. Coach, nah. Coach, yeah, to get me back to you.
by Aletosas. Aletosas is another female crew, and they paint about the Truth Commission. In 2016, we signed a peace agreement with FARC. FARC was the oldest guerrilla in the world, and one of the agreements was to make a Truth Commission, because it's very important not only to disarm the guerrilla, but to understand the causes of the conflict, because only understanding why this war happened, we can try to change our society and we can prevent that this never happen again. This kind of conflict never happen again. And the Truth Commission heard all the people who wants to tell their stories. They heard the guerrillas, the paramilitares, the army, the civilians, the victims, and with those stories they try to reconstruct our history and enlighten the truth behind the conflict. And Aletosas took many of these stories and paint about those stories. And as you saw, all the murals here are about women, because most of the victims in war are women. Not only in the Colombian conflict for graffiti, the punk is also very. As you may know, the punk came from England, or at least the most famous punk is the British punk, and the British punk talks about the working class, about these young people that they couldn't find good jobs, and countries that no longer offer good opportunities for them. So we can understand this culture, we can understand these people. That is why the punk is so popular here in Colombia. And these two artists are very punk. The first one is Toxicomano. Toxicomano paint about Colombian problems. This mural, for example, is about the missing people. After all these years of conflict, we have to name it. And he is very punk. One of his most famous graffiti is a young man with his mohawk covering one of his eyes. And the people thought that it was self-portrait, but actually take a picture of one of his friends and make famous his friend. And he also used very punk phrases like "Los feos somos más." We, the ugly people, are more. So he's very punk, very dirty, very urban, and this other artist is completely the opposite. She's colorful, she's happy. R is one of the first female artists in the graffiti history. Now in Colombia, of course, there's a lot of women in graffiti, but at that time it was more like a male thing, because it was dangerous, complicated for everyone. And she's a unique artist, because she's not a cliché artist. Her style is not what many people think that the style of a woman should look like. Yes, she's very feminine, very her own punk way. So, she thinks about animals, music, feminism, how is to be a woman, without very misogynist. And well, reestablish the original mural. They only paint over it, trying to preserve the original part. But okay, and also the other part of the house has been repainted. It's quite new and was painted by Mogre Diamante and Score. The Score is from Medellin, and he painted these human beings, these generic human beings, because he doesn't care about the gender, the race. So he painted these generic human beings. And Medellin is the only city in Colombia in where there are metro, train, subway. And they used to, with his crew, they used to paint in the metro. But one day, the metro started early and ran over his crew, and he was the only one who survived. Well, that is the official version. The other version says that the police killed the crew and make up all the scene to try to make that they were killed by the train. Okay, let's continue. There. Here. Okay, so this is one of the most popular graffitis in Bogota. If you are walking here by the Jimenez Avenue, you have to stop here and take a picture. And the story of this mural is very funny because it's a restaurant and the owners, they want to paint a mural, but they didn't have enough money. So they contact this crew, this colectivo, and they make a deal. The idea is that they will lend the restaurant for a party. They will feed the artists, and the artists will paint it. But the owners regret it completely. Not because the party, they were very happy, not with the mural, sorry, they were very happy with the result, but with the party. It was a wild party, they ate almost everything there. So, the next time, because so the next time, because this is the second version of this mural, they decide to forget about the party and only pay for the mural. So the moral is pay the artist. Just pay the artist. And this is also a huge catalog of artists because every character was painted by a different artist. This mural was painted by APC, that is one of the biggest crews in Bogota. Okay, so let's move a little so we can see the other one. So, this one. They lose an architect, an art professor, an anti-war artist. And you can see that in the stencils. The pineapple grenade, the money symbol but the rifle, the tricky game, I don't know how you call it in your country, the
tic-tac-toe.
The tic-tac-toe game, the tricky. But as you can see, that game is blocked. Nobody can win that game. It's impossible to win that game. That is a metaphor of war. Nobody wins. And he said that he used this generic technique because the important of his art is not him, not the author, it's the people that he's painting, his portrait. He painted the anonymous people of Colombia. This mural, in this case, there are two women, two activists, two social leaders of Colombia. The big face was painted by Toxicomano, we already talked about him, and this one, the new one, was painted by Watch. And he had to repaint this wall because before this mural used to be another mural painted by him, but somebody covered, somebody tagged over it. So in graffiti there are kind of rules, dark rules, written rules. If you find a new wall and you paint it, that wall became yours. But of course another artist can cover this wall. If he or she thinks that they can make a better wall, they can cover it. But most of the time it's a kind of friendly fight. You paint something, then your friend paints something else, then another artist paints something